William Joseph BJ Blazkowicz is the hero of the Wolfenstein Reboot saga, The New Order, The Old Blood, and The New Colossus. William is a third-generation Polish American, born in 1911 and grew up in a Texas farm. He had an abusive childhood, with his father venting his anger on him, his mother, and their dog Bessie for his failing business. This abuse actually shaped BJ into someone who rebelled against overbearing authority, such as the fascist Nazi order. Once BJ reached the white age, he ran away from home and joined the United States Army. His father disapproved, of course, due to his controlling nature. His mother was heartbroken that her only son had left and was traveling down a very dark and dangerous path. Regardless, BJ felt the duty to do something about the German threat and left to fulfill that obligation. In 1946, when Blazkowicz turned 35, with the tides of World War II turning dramatically in favor of the Nazi war machine, the desperate Allied forces set out to shift back the momentum with one last-ditch attempt, an assault on the Death's Head compound. The operation was a complete failure, and Captain Blazkowicz ends up in a coma, suffering from a traumatic injury. He somehow survives but lives on an empty shell of his former self in a mental asylum for 14 years, until a fateful day in 1960 when he was forced to live out his purpose of killing Nazis once again. Without diving too deep into the story, in this video, I seek to extract what in my opinion are BJ Blazkowicz top 5 rules for life. Before we start, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Rule number 1. No heels for a stepper. In the events of Wolfenstein The Old Blood, the standalone prequel to The New Order, in 1946, BJ and Richard Wesley were sent to the castle Wolfenstein within the German Alps in order to retrieve a top-secret folder which contains information on the location of Death's Head's compound. Disguised as SS officers, BJ and Wesley infiltrate and arrive in the castle in a cable car. Their cover was blown after using a radio to contact Kessler for an updated location of the folder. The Nazi troops attacked the agents and BJ engages the troops. As both agents leave the office through a vent, they both were captured by Rudy Yeager, accompanied by his dog Greta and a super soldier. Sent into the castle's dungeon cell, Blazkowicz manages to escape with the help of a pipe, which he uses as a weapon. BJ infiltrated the keep and find Wesley after being tortured by Rudy in a surgical theater, strapped in an electric chair. Blazkowicz is captured once again by Rudy, who straps him in a chair while trying to interrogate him. The interrogation was a shit show. However, BJ used the pain to break free, electrocute Rudy in the chair, and then kill his dog Greta, who was chewing on Wesley's body.
Killed your fucking dog.
To help regain his mental focus after the tragic loss of his friend, BJ reminded himself on his mission. As he stepped into an elevator, he looked into the mirror and said this iconic line to himself.
No hill for a stepper, right, Billy boy? No hill for a stepper.
I struggled to figure out the meaning of this line. Thanks to the following response in Steam community, his monologue made perfect sense. No hill for a stepper is a Southern American idiom, essentially meaning that no task is too great for an overcomer. BJ says this to himself as he now has to escape the keep, a monumental task, but well, is no hill for a stepper. BJ Blazkowicz is a hardened warrior, gone through extreme pain, malevolent cruelty, and endless suffering, but he has powerful faith to overcome any obstacles and stops at nothing to fight the Nazis. It could be useful for us to apply his resilient attitude into our daily life. Maintaining the status quo is easy and comfortable because we are just repeating what we know and what we've always been doing, to create an illusion of inner permanence and stability. But in order to grow to the next level, we need to be actively seeking new hills to climb, even to let go of what have already been working, or we are just wasting potential. Only by having a clear sight on challenging goals that we decide to overcome and climbing towards them, we can experience a sense of purpose and fulfillment. None of us are a killing machine like Blazkowicz, but we can still aim to make a killing and have a blast of fun, to really go at what we always dreamed to do. Remember BJ's mantra and affirm to yourself, no heels for a stepper, and you are an unstoppable stepper. Rule number 2. Stay calm in the chaos of war. BJ Blazkowicz has always been portrayed as a fierce and unwavering patriot. He shows a deep sense of contempt for the Nazis for their oppressive, faithless, and genocidal ideology. However, he was not always fearless. He used to be bullied and abused by his father and companions for his avoidance of conflict and weakness. He developed his self-reliance and overcame his timidity through repeated practice and joining the US Army. In Castle Wolfenstein, before Wesley died from torture, he taught BJ his secret trick to stay calm in dire situations.
Count to 4. Inhale. Count to 4. Exhale.
You got it.
By focusing on the breathing in the present moment, he is able to ease the debilitating pain and suffering. BJ was able to calm Wyatt's nerves using this trick as the soldier was overwhelmed by war anxiety during the assault on Deathhead's compound. No matter how tough and pragmatic BJ seems to be on his physical appearance, his key to survival in numerous dangerous operations lies in his mental strength and ability to focus on the task at hand, breaking down his mission into achievable steps and staying calm and refocusing on his mission in the chaos of war.
Need to stay calm. Remember the mission. Find, set, raw. Count to 4. Inhale.
Presence of mind is a counterbalance to mental weakness. Our greatest weakness is losing heart, doubting ourselves. We tend to overestimate other people's abilities and underestimate our own. In moments of chaos, we must force ourselves to be more determined, double the resolve, and overcome in action. When circumstances seem scary, our imagination tends to take over, filling our minds with unnecessary nerves. The best way to calm down and control the mind is to concentrate on something simple, such as counting to 4 and breathing deeply. A focused mind has no room for anxiety. Rule number 3. Do or die. After suffering from a traumatic head injury jumping off a window in Deathhead's compound, BJ remained in a vegetative state for nearly 15 years, but slowly starts to awaken from his mental blank. In 1960, Nazi forces led by Friedrich Keller made a final visit to shut down the asylum. Just as the main nurse, Anya Oliver, was feeding him, the troops storm into the ward and starts executing patients. Anya's parents intervene and struggle with the commando as BJ musters the strength to grab a kitchen knife. The commando overpowers both of Anya's parents and executes them, and Anya is taken away. The commando kills the rest of the patients and gets ready to shoot BJ. In a fit of rage, he stands up and slices the commando's neck.
Nazi scum.
BJ now looks older, with weakened muscles from lack of use. His legs felt like jelly. He had no choice. It was either stand up to fight or die. BJ battles his way through the asylum and finds Anya. He rescues Anya and drives out of the asylum. BJ almost falls asleep before the gunshots from a Nazi on the road awakens him. The Nazi climbs up on top of the car and attempts to kill BJ and Anya before being stabbed in the throat and killed. BJ always had a do-or-die mentality.
Do or die, son. Same as always.
As a soldier, he's not afraid of death, but has long accepted death.
Death at the gates again. Howl in my name. Can't greet you today. I have a war to win.
There's a saying in the movie John Wick 4, those who cling to death live, but those who cling to life die. Because only when you die to this life can you truly live. Like all video game protagonists, BJ Blazkowicz got shot multiple times, only to shrug it off the moment he finds a medkit. His expert proficiency with firearms, to the point where he can take down whole compounds dual-handedly. BJ is at the peak of human physical condition, having trained relentlessly to get where he is. He has absolutely earned the nickname given to him by German soldiers, Terror Billy. We don't need to survive falling rocks on our head like BJ did multiple times, or be shot at by Nazis to cling to death. Death is actually closer to us than we think, as each minute that passed already belongs to death. Sometimes the fastest way to cure inaction is to expect something from yourself again. You are stronger than you think. Sure, you might fail, but what's the alternative? Holding back and settle with complacency? Don't let that be your fate.
Ich habe mein Schicksal in die Hand genommen. Haben Sie Ihr Schicksal in der Hand, friends?
BJ had most of his intestines cut out, nearly dying from the blast of Deathshed's suicidal grenade. But he still had the guts to start a revolution, attempted to assassinate Hitler on Venus and overthrow the Nazi regime. So have the guts to expect something great from yourself. Have a sense of urgency and desperation by burning your bridge. Do or die. Staring at failure, a form of death in your face. Maybe you will survive.
Don't hesitate, just do it.
Rule number 4. Carry the weight of the world on your shoulder. Blazkowicz also had a philosophical and poetic side through internal monologues on subjects like love, loss, responsibility, and war. BJ showed tremendous compassion, looking past people's nationality or ethnicity. This is evident with Billy and Bombate. With Billy, he attempts to obey his father's insistence that he have no interaction with African Americans to keep his good reputation. However, he quickly forgets this as they bond over their shared interest, unable to hate somebody solely for their skin color. The only type Blazkowicz hates are Nazi. He lives to rid the world of them once and for all. He's loyal to his allies and fiercely defends them. He would always risk his life and return to save his friends when they are in trouble or captured by Nazis. As the series progresses, BJ develops empathy and recognizing the good in others, despite being referred to as a terrorist and propaganda boogeyman by the Nazis, brutally murdering Nazi soldiers and giving them nightmares as a one-man army. He was fighting for what he believed to be the just cause.
I feel the weight of the world pushing me down. I try to carry it nonetheless. One last time. Then I can rest.
Soldiers in real life feel the necessity to deliver high-performing results out of a sense of duty to teammates, to the country, or a cause beyond themselves. Others are counting on them, and they're trying to fulfill a responsibility. We often do more for others than for ourselves. BJ feels the weight of the world on his shoulder, but he carries it nonetheless because he had a patriotic duty to fight against Nazis' world domination. We are lucky enough to be living in a peaceful country where we have the luxury to afford enjoying video games. We've consumed enough, and it's our turn to give back. You're here not merely to gratify your impulses and consume what others have made, but have responsibility to create and contribute as well, to serve a higher purpose.
There was never any purpose or intent of use beyond the act of creation. We create to commune with God. Do you see that?
Work every day on improving the skills that matches with your unique character and purpose. Add to the much-needed diversity of culture by creating something that reflects your uniqueness. Embrace what makes you different. Not following this path is the reason we feel depressed at times. Stop thinking about your selfish needs and think about how you can help others with your gift. Ask yourself, who needs me right now? When you feel a sense of duty to serve others, you are more likely to perform at your best. Rule number 5. Finish the work you are put on this earth to do.
Blessing to have finished the work I was put on this earth to do. Surrounded by friends that love me.
You have no idea what it's like to suffer like I do.
Bombate, we are out. Fire!
Yes, madam.
He's bleeding out. Go faster.
And the great warmth washing over me.
Towel.
I think the sky's on fire.
Don't die. Caroline, he's dying.
Press.
He's turning. Bombate, we'll need a gurney and a hangar bay. ETA 19.
Death at the gates again. Howling my name. Come on in, old buddy. Sorry I made you wait.
BJ's first words and internal monologue while nearly died from Deathhead's suicide grenade in the opening of New Colossus shows that he is a man of purpose. He has real clarity about what he is here to accomplish while alive on planet Earth.
People are getting desperate. Not me. I'm here to see an old friend and settle a score. Turn this thing around.
BJ's life purpose, as he sees it, is simply to destroy the Nazis, a self-directed punishment for allowing them to win the war in his absence. As early as the Old Blood, he understands the Nazis' ideological narrow-mindedness enough to use it against them and often acts around their arrogance.
This is true of the Nazis. They're not lacking in vanity.
His instinct for Nazi killing is obvious as he lunges at Klaus when he spots his swastika tattoo and never completely trusts him for the remainder of the game. Blazko uses his anger and hatred as fuel to drive him forward. His rebellion against the fascist dictatorship gives him energy and purpose. BJ is extremely confident and aggressive because he has absolute clarity on who he is, where he's going, and how to get it. He has the courage to change what he can change.
Yeah, listen, Blazko. We can't change what happened. You did a hell of a job finding that folder. Which means we've got the location of Death's Head's compound. Eh? We bloody got it. Can you believe it?
Obviously, it is not our calling to become a killer, but if you're unsure about who you want to be, it's time to create more clarity by asking yourself questions about what you want, trying new things, and experiment with new opportunities in life. It is important to get really good at the skills by intentionally blocking out time to build your specific skills of interest. Just like Blazko became proficient at using many different types of weapons, including throwing the knife and hatchet. So how do we know what work we find meaningful and what we are fighting for?
Sometimes, truly, it's good to remember what you're fighting for.
It could be something that's really important to you and sparks your heart with enthusiasm, that makes you feel alive and drawn to. Something that you're willing to commit to for the next decade, that you're willing to do the work despite low compensation. The work should give you a sense of satisfaction and challenges you to grow. Your work creates a legacy and contributes to a higher purpose. This is your calling, your life's task. As Leonardo da Vinci wrote, just as a well-filled day brings blessed sleep, so a well-employed life brings blessed death. This is what BJ Blazkowicz felt during his near-death experience. It is truly a blessing to end your life knowing you have completed what you're meant to do in this short time on Earth. Because you're no longer afraid of death when you have no regret. The time that you are alive is the only real possession you have. Everything else can be taken away. Family you love, your health, your job, your PlayStation, and your car. You can give your time away by working for other people. They own your time, and you may feel miserable. You can give it away by indulging in external pleasures and addictions. Or you can make the time that you are alive your own by pursuing your calling relentlessly every waking hour. The meaning of our existence is only heightened knowing how short our time is to experience everything, with no respawn allowed in this game of life. By the way, BJ Blazkowicz's physical appearance reminded me of Jocko Willink. If you're interested in more rules for life from another great war hero, it might be a good time to revisit one of my older videos, Snake's Top 10 Rules for Life, featuring Jocko. Remember to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.